I guess we could talk about the commentary style content for a bit.
Because Simon hates them.
Well, no, I always remember back to that clip from the podcast, because I remember when we were speaking about it, and the way you said it, it was like, I just hate. You was like, oh man, commentary channels, I just hate them.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't think about what
It's
else
not
to
a
say.
controversial opinion.
No, yeah, but I guess what you said there is quite interesting, where the fact that the videos are doing so well, so it's like, I guess it's hard to stop, isn't it? Or it's hard to like readjust. It's doing so well. And
I always thought I was one of the good ones, but that's also like a really kind of like, I suppose, egotistical thing to say, where I was like, no, but I'm right.
Or doing the right thing.
Yeah, I'm doing, and I also thought, but for me, you know, I did do a lot of videos defending people, but at the same time, what I didn't like was even a video defending somebody had to be packaged as if I was like about to ruin their life.
No, but they are, the videos are so entertaining. Like they just are. Like I think as humans,
If you're funny enough, they're great, man.
Well, it's like, I think they were talking about Love Island as well, and they were saying the reason Love Island is so rewarding to watch is because, you know, people. It makes you feel better about yourself, because, you know, these people are kind of, you know, having awful arguments, and it's very embarrassing, you know, and it's nice to watch people fail at stuff.
Well, you get to pick somebody and go, look at all of this shit.
Yeah.
I'm better than that.
Yeah,
and then
look, they're so attractive, but they're still, you know, idiots.
And I got to that point where when I started, every video was not funny at all. I was just generally going, fuck this guy. This is when I was like 17. I was like, fuck this guy, they suck. And I would never do that. As a 17-year-old, it's really easy to say that, though, really, when you have absolutely no life experience. And then it got to that point where I was like, oh, man, I didn't even want my videos to be like this. I always wanted to be funny, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that was the aim. And I was like, no, I've just... Because what would happen, I'd just turn the camera and I would generally I wouldn't even write anything. I'd just go for it. Yeah. And that's a mistake. Don't do that ever. And then look back on that on the internet. So it got to that point where I did, when the We Need to Stop videos came in, and the reason why they took off, because the funny thing is, when I was trashing people, nobody fucking wanted to watch those, because I just looked like an angry, like, kid.
Yeah.
That was really it. Like, and why would you want to watch that? It's irritating. But then, when the We Need to Stop videos came about, I would script them, and I'd make sure the first 8 minutes was all jokes. And all of the jokes as well, if you go and watch all of them, is like, somebody will do something, and then I'll go, what an idiot, I'd never do that. And then I would do it to be like, oh, I'm also as bad as them. That, you know, self-deprecation to save you know. But I thought that was funny, because it got to that point where I was kind of weirdly playing like a character. But then also, what was dumb is that the last 2 minutes, I give my genuine opinion. And you can't do a character piece for 8 minutes where you're going, what an idiot, I can't believe he'd do that thing, and then I pretend to do it. And then at the end go, yeah, but actually, now, seriously, it was really bad the whole time, because then people thought the whole thing was just my whole opinion. And then you just end at that point now with all of these videos where they're like 50% jokes, 50% me going, yeah, but fuck them. And it's very easy to just look at all of them and go, which one is the joke and which one is the opinion?
Yeah.
Because the thing for me was more like, I know I said I hate commentary channels. People took that very just broad.
Yeah.
Of, I hate every single person that does a commentary video.
Yeah.
I meant it more as like, there's people that will just point out someone's mistake that sometimes were just genuine mistakes, and then kind of just basically go like, oh yeah, I'm making a video to basically just try and cause their downfall so I can get some views, really.
Yeah.
When sometimes, you know, some things are justified, etc. But there were some
Like actual crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was some, you know, someone, I think you did one actually about merch.
Yes. No. Yeah.
Merch ones.
Yeah, I did
Some
a few
are
merch
like,
ones.
you know, if they are charging too much, I don't know if it justifies a whole video.
The thing is with those, I would always do that thing where I then go, I did the JoJo Siwa one, but then the whole time I did the whole irony for like 8 minutes. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it, and I was like photoshopping it to be like 25 grand for a t-shirt. And then at the end I went, oh, and by the way, here's my clothes. It's like 50 quid for a hoodie. And like I look back at that now and I'm like, the main problem about that is it just wasn't very funny.
Yeah.
I think like if I went back and looked at it now, and also in hindsight, I don't actually have a problem with that at all, and I was joking in those videos, but for the majority, maybe not the early ones, I was definitely like, how dare they? Whereas now, as somebody who, and this is the thing, as somebody who now runs a clothing company, I go, oh yeah, I see why they charge that much. It costs.
Yeah.
I got employees and people who rely on me selling clothes to live.
Yeah.
I look back and I go, yeah, that would be 17-year-old IMALLEXX's opinion on running a merch store.
That's what it's all about, because you have like 3 different components, right? So say you have yourself, then you have the person you're speaking about in the video, and then you have the audience. You know, and again, as audience members, it's so great to watch these videos because it makes you feel better about yourself. You know, you're looking at this big celebrity, like say Gabby Hanna or something, someone who's so successful. It's nice to see, you know, them fail. Like as a viewer, it is. It's nice to say, oh, what have they done wrong this week? I'm gonna watch that video. I find it enjoying. You know, drama alert. That's why drama alert is so easy to watch.
As someone who knew Gabby, watching all of that, I was like, oh, I'm seeing like 2 completely different sides. And that's another thing. Now I know everybody and basically everyone as well. But I did that on purpose. I knew that I wouldn't be able to see commentary forever because I actually did like.
I feel like a lot of commentary channels have done that.
Yeah,
Obviously, when I was saying this was 7 years, whatever. Well, it was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
But also, commentary channels don't like me, so it's like it's not.
But I feel like a lot of commentary channels as well, when they start, they are like slating people that 3 years later they meet. They go,
Yeah,
oh, they're actually quite a nice guy, and then they don't slate them anymore.
I always said, and I said this way back in the day to everybody. I went, if you want to be able to do this forever and be really happy doing your commentary videos, I was like, just don't make any friends.
Yeah, you got to not grow. You got to realize that this is my lane. I'm gonna stay in my room or whatever. I'm not gonna do this forever.
I could have done We Need to Stop forever,
Yeah.
and just waited for every person to do
To mess
something.
up, yeah.
But like, the idea of doing that generally makes me ill.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that was just not the thing. I was like, it got to that point as well where, when I started to realize that. When I read the comments and somebody would be like, I really hope so-and-so like kills himself, I was like, okay, I think it's time to wrap up this gig. You know,
well, literally.
it was fun when people seemed to get it. But then when it got like when they were getting 1 million views a video, you just can't control them, and you're making something inherently negative.
Yeah, but wow, like, honestly, if you're seeing that much, you see 1 million views per video. Wow, like it's so hard to step away from that, isn't it? It's so hard to be like, I'm probably doing something that's not quite right here, but I'm still going to do it.
I just always did my TV reaction videos. That was my safe space.
Yeah,
and when you're like that long ago as well, I feel like you haven't got the experience to understand that actually you are causing the effect that you're having on the person.
Yeah.
Because like I might make a joke about you, for example. It doesn't really work because I know you so well, but
yeah,
back then I'd probably think like, oh, it's kind of just funny. Whereas now I'd think, actually, if someone else, I think now I'd think, oh, that'd be kind of annoying if it happened to me.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't do it to.
That's what it is. It's like, you know, you watch these videos and you enjoy them until it's about you, and you're like, oh, now it's too far. But then
yes,
in that reality, it's too far for everyone because, you know, everyone is someone, you know. So Zoella, say, like with the advent calendar thing, right? I imagine, you know, Zoella, you know, back then, much younger, doing really well, you know. And then someone approaches her, oh, do you want to do that advent calendar? Yeah, that sounds great.
You wouldn't say no.
You know, here's a price, here's this, and you're like, okay, cool, yeah, sure. You got all these marketing people speaking at you. It's
also
very
like
hard
it's
to
going to be
no.
in Boots or whatever.
Yeah,
like, you know,
sounds amazing. You know, why would you turn that down? And then
you trust them as well because you should. Like, you know, they're going, we're going to pay you this, and you know, and you're going, okay, cool.
The reason why YouTube is so successful, or has been so successful, and the reason YouTubers have been so successful is because it is just normal people. It's normal people learning, growing, and getting better at things. These people aren't all PR trained. These people aren't all like, you know, products of marketing school. They're just people, so they're going to mess up at some point.
And also, some stuff really is like what is portrayed on the internet couldn't be further from actually what really, really, really happened.
Yeah, but that's why the satire part of it is fine, because at first, you know, you can think, oh yeah, it's just satire. You know, it's just, you know, mock the weak type content. You know, just making fun of people, and it's like
that was always my defense.
Then in certain areas, it can hit a nerve, can't it? Or
yeah,
it can get a bit too far.
It got to that point where the thing is, when I started commentary, I had 2,000 subscribers, and Keemstar reacted to my video on live stream, and he had like 1 million at that point. So I just got like literally as soon as I started, I knew exactly what it was like to have somebody make a video on me.
Yeah,
I watched Keem just fucking destroy me for an hour, and I thought it was really funny, and I was just glad to be involved, and that was why I did it for so long. So I was like, well, I got to a point where I was like, well, I suppose this is the space I feel in the machine, I guess. And then also you get to that point as well where I was like, maybe I'm not funny, and maybe I'm just really, really lucky that I like nailed down this niche and was almost like didn't want to let it go so much that I just carried on and carried on and carried on. But I got to that point where I was like, you know, I think when I started seeing my 90 Day Fiancé videos are now my most viewed videos on my channel, I was like, I actually never was popular for those. They did well in the first week, and this is the curse with YouTube is those first week views are such a lie. Like, you look at the stuff is actually on your channel now, what the most popular stuff is that people actually wanted to watch. All my videos, all my TV stuff, and the stuff I did with other YouTubers. People, in reality, probably got massively turned off by all those videos where I was just blitzing people left, right, and centre.
Yeah. Some enjoyed it, and some maybe didn't.
And then I ended up. I mean, I was one of the last people Leafy ever made a video on. That was the last before his channel got taken down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I said the same thing when I was at Alfie Days, and a lot of people didn't like my take. But the one thing I think people forget about me, the reason why I knew so much about YouTube is because I was a fan of everyone, and like not just like I'm a big fan. Like, I know a lot about it. More I know a lot of stuff. Like, I could name like first videos people uploaded and stuff like that.
That's when I first met you. I think it was at the one of the Sidemen. Was it the might have been JJ's documentary?
Yes.
Or was it that or the Sidemen show documentary?
The one
that
the Calix and like Rubber Duck and those guys.
Yeah, it might have been that one. And yeah, this is when I wasn't really making much content at the time. And I spoke to you, and you were like, "Oh, I love the Heskey Time stuff," and that's one of the first times I spoke to someone about that stuff that wasn't in that circle.
Yeah, and all the football rap battles. Ronaldo versus Messi.
Yeah.
I could rehearse that right now. I'm not going to.
That's what Tommy was like. Tommy was like, he can do all the Simon diss tracks off by heart.
Yeah,
and he did.
He did.
He did.
He just performed it.
He did.
Yeah. He was vlogging it. And, yeah.
I love that, man. Yeah, it's like when I met Alfie, I was like, oh man, I grew up watching like everybody's videos, and I was like, and I never, there's always like this myth, I never made a video on Alfie Days. I never actually thought, Jack's videos on Alfie are hilarious, and I just never, I also was like, that's Jack's thing, and I was also like, I just couldn't do anything funny about it, so I just never did it. Like that £1 video came out, and I was like, I'm just not funny enough to make anything out of that. So when I met Alfie, I think he thought that just because I knew Jack or whatever, that I like wanted to like gut him or something.
Yeah.
Whereas I was like, I remember we did that podcast and we sat there and we talked about the commentary stuff, and I'm there going, and I really fucked it because he clearly thought I was like an enemy, and I'm there going, well, I don't really like many of the commentary channels actually, so I just made no friends.
Either side of the coin.
Because I'm sat there in the middle where I go, and it would be easy to say, oh, a lot of people just do it for money, but a lot of people really don't. I think I know everybody I know is a commentary channel 100% fully believed everything they were saying, but also it's one of those things where if you meet somebody or whatever, you will instantly go, oh man, I was just very misinformed.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. I haven't met a person that I don't like. I don't think.
Yeah, I know, but then
you want to in commentary as well. That's the problem, because it's the video, right? You're looking. It gets to that point where everybody you meet or whatever. If I met somebody, I always have a rule that if I met them, I would like never do a video on them. I think the only person I did was James Charles, and that was just me defending him. Yeah. But because I just was like, as soon as I meet somebody, I was like, it just, it's out of respect. You just shouldn't do a video on somebody after that point.
But it's like the audience. It's the audience that sometimes they can take satire too far. Like they get the pitchforks and they're like, oh, I hate this person now. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily that simple. You're speaking about one incident that they've done potentially, or you're speaking about, just making jokes on this certain thing, and then the audience just think, right, this time to cancel this person. When it's not necessarily
also
the case.
Like people who bring stuff up from like 4 years ago. It's like I just don't think like, and I'm guilty of doing that, and I know I did that in my old videos to fill time. And it's like, and now I look at it and I go, just no need. Like, people change so quickly. Yeah. But it's also like, I look at it, I go, I was 17 and young and just didn't really have a fucking clue what was going on.
No, if the videos
and
are doing well,
the videos were like people like what like I remember when I was like 16, I thought Leafy and Pyrocynical, I thought their videos were like the funniest things on the planet. I was like, this is great. And even Drama Alert, I was like, Drama Alert's hilarious. Yeah, I was like, even still, I'll put a Drama Alert on and go, that was funny. Yeah. But also, I was like, but also probably very mean.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just so hard to take yourself out of it, because as I said before, it's like the video does well, and as YouTubers, if a video does well, you do it again. And it's hard to step away and be like, is this right?
It's also the algorithm rewards it. Like,
yeah, the algorithm loves it.
But now as well, YouTube, you can't do commentary anymore. Okay. Especially like that. And I'm glad that because I think I don't know if I'm a big enough person to admit that I would have walked away if it wasn't for the fact that it became obvious that they didn't want to push it anymore. Like, I think it was one of those things where it was kind of like, okay, if I'm clever and I can see this downwards trend, I was like, it's quite obvious that I should try and do something else. And also, now I'm just so much happier because it is a depressing space to be in. Even when I thought I was being really nice all the time and funny, it was still like every day you're like, well, so like it was just like reading accusations of just every horrible thing you could ever read every day for your job, and that is not fun.
Yeah, well, I think it gets to that point. I think Jackmate is like maybe at a point like that as well now, because obviously I think I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but I feel like he obviously in the past did really well on commentary style videos, making fun of people. Obviously he tried to pack a lot more humour into it.
Well, I always wanted to be Jackmate.
yeah. But then I think now he's definitely becoming one of the influencers, if that makes sense. Like he's becoming one of the people that he used to make videos of.
When we started Happy Hour, that was the big thing. Yeah. We were like, we actually probably don't find it. It was at a point where it stopped being funny. Because when it was funny, it was great. But when it got to that point where it's like, no, it just isn't. It's just not worth it. And it's also not worth that thing where every time you meet somebody, you're going, oh, they're going to chin me. Because that's not a great time. You know. And there's so many people I met now, like Logan Paul's the prime example. Yeah, you're going to chin me, Simon. Yeah, go on. Yeah. I don't know. I think I met Logan Paul, and he's probably said some of the nicest things he's ever said to me. He gave me loads of advice, because I was mega cancelled at the time. Okay. And he literally went, you think you got it bad? He's like, hi. To me, Logan Paul. And I went, yeah. And he went, just keep on doing your thing. And I was like, are you sure, Logan? I've made like 5 videos on you. He was really nice. And now I look at that, and every time I've met him since, he's been sound. So I don't see it as like a one-off thing. And I go, okay, well, yeah, why have that one video up there to represent somebody? Because I'm never going to go back and go, well, it was in a 1 million view video where he was actually really nice to me. Yeah. So. Well,
it's what we show people is their perception of us. So, a lot of the times, even if you go through something awful, obviously like Logan did, like probably, self-inflicted for sure. I'm not saying it was like unwarranted, but, if you want to change perception, you have to change yourself and also change what you're doing and the content. And he's probably a prime example of that, right? Of like, obviously the Japan thing was like the biggest thing ever, really. In influencers, it was probably the biggest thing that ever happened. And that was something that was like, that wasn't like, oh, someone selling merch for 50 quid or putting out advent calendar. That was something that was, let's talk about this. But then he came back from that and actually showed that he can be a better person and portray that better person.
And that's also, I think, the biggest showcase where I go, you need to separate yourself from YouTube, because like, I think only when I saw that video, as somebody who was a full-time YouTuber at the time, I was like, I could see that if I went proper mentally off the rails, how I could end up just being like, everything is a video.
That's what it was like. He was filming everything, wasn't he? It was just, it's not it's the right thing, but you just film. The next minute you've gone too far, and that's what I was trying to say about the Zoella as well. You do this opportunity, you do that opportunity. It's very hard to stop and look at this thing and be like, all right, this is where it's going.
You become a content machine, not a person. You're just like something to be filmed, and that's not good. There's parts where I put stuff out on the internet that's really personal. I look back on it and gone, what the fuck came over me to think that was worth sharing? I should have kept that to myself. That was not a good idea. And like, because you get to that point where, because your whole life seems to be online, you start living online, and that's really dangerous. Like, I mean, not to bring up again, but Tommy, he was like, I spend 3 hours on my computer a day, and I was like, how are you so much better at this than me? You're 17. I was like, I used to be on for like 17 hours just on Twitter.
Non-stop. Still probably now, to be honest. If I wasn't doing other things, I'd be sat on my computer.